Hi there, this is Bravo 1, Bravo Team Airsoft, and today I'm going to give you a brief view of my armoury changeover. So if you know me personally, or you've been on the Instagram channel that I've got linked to the YouTube channel, you probably know this already. But for the past week or so, I've been basically building a sort of an armoury update video on, how I'm going to have it all. That's why I thought I'll do this, since I've taken photos of it being built and shown the before and after, etc. So basically, I was after a US Army Vietnam era type of gun rack for the armories on base. If you've been following the channel for a while and you know what Bravo Team Airsoft is, it's essentially a Vietnam War era airsoft group. So we basically do different eras around the US Army, whether it's ARVN, VC, US Army, Australian SAS, even what I'm currently wearing, which I'm going to build when it's quite finished, which is your standard Royal Australian Regiment kit. It's a work in progress. But this is what we do. So the weapons I have in my personal collection, and other members of Bravo Team do carry different weapons because they do different kinds of airsoft. Everything from the 80s to modern, you name it, they do it. But I specifically do the Vietnam, which is why it's always my ugly mug on the channel and not several other people. That, and also it's a bit of an issue with the trolls. A lot of people can't be arsed with it, so it tends to just be me that does the channel. But for this reason of different kinds of airsoft, I have a variety of different NAM era weapons. So I don't know where I got the idea from. I could have got it from one of the other members of Bravo Team, maybe a film or a TV show, or even a picture I've seen on Instagram or Facebook. I don't really know where I got the idea from. Basically, I saw a picture of someone that had something similar to this with a variety of different weapons in. I liked the idea. I was like, I want one myself. Got myself on eBay and Google and the usual stuff, tried to see if I can find one. I did find one. It was fairly cheap, a realistic one dated 68, I believe, in Louisiana. I did contact the seller and he said, yeah, I can send it to you, but it'll probably cost you 2-3 times the price that you're willing to pay for it in postage, import, customs, etc. So it would have been very expensive, a big ordeal getting it out. So I did ask a few of the people I've got on Instagram if they knew anyone, as I've got people all around the world from the group on there that might have known to help. A lot of them suggested what I was already thinking of doing, simply printing off a schematic of how they looked and then basically building my own, which is exactly what I've done. So those that supported me on Instagram on this idea, I thank you. So basically is what I ended up doing is I printed off images as people suggested, and then thought, right, how can I copy this? Now I ended up buying an industrial shelving unit, big metal ones, twice the size of this. It came out to thicker than the length of my door. Usually because I'm quite handy with building and cutting things and what have you, I'm a bit of a handyman for doing various jobs. I then basically cut the entire thing by half, cut the metal, drilled it, bolted it, you name it, did it, and then eventually painted it, which took me a good week and a half to do. And this is what's left me with this result. So this is a personal idea that I've done myself. It's not perfect to scale of the real thing. A lot of it I've had to modify or make in my own designs for various reasons, either just because it was easier or more adaptive for the guns that I'm using, as I'm using a variety of different weapons from different nations, and it's got a bit complicated. It's still not 100%. There's still a few more things I need to do as of the clips, which I'll show you more in depth in detail shortly. But yeah, for my satisfaction, it's basically finished, other than a few odds and sods. The paint job was a bit rough, but I'm going to leave that as it is because I'm not that bothered. It's all painted in green. It's not perfectly painted, but for the whole wear and tear factor and the aging, I'm not really too bothered with that. So I think I'm going to keep the painting as is. It's not all my guns either. I do have various guns not on mannequins or on the walls and other places, but the majority of the guns I use, like my favourites, the high-end ones I use for milsims and whatever you're off specific loadouts, they're all in this. So this has got like the majority of the firepower I like to use and use frequently. So I'm going to go into a bit more in depth so you can have a bit of a closer look as opposed to just what I've done behind. So stay with me and I will show you what I've done and why. So this is what I've done as far as my gun goes, so I'll show right on the top. Now I've done it bigger than the original version they used in Vietnam because I had the sizing to do it, and then I thought for the sheer sake of storage space, holding more weapons, more gear, I thought this was a much better idea for me. So if I go in a bit closer here, you can see where I've put these little hooks through on the side, and I've put little chain links so I can clip these off. It just simply holds it in place a bit better so they don't move, or they can't be pulled out unnecessarily or fall over or whatever. So I've done these on all of them, basically with the old keyring fobs, some chains, and eventually I'll clip them around. That's the only thing I've not finished. Just to hold them in stores. I've done the same things for the stocks. I've used planks of wood just to hold the stocks in to the width of the gun. It took me a while to actually do that. I had to hand screw in over 30 of the screws because by the time I wanted to do it I had to drill it in and it was the middle of the night. So yeah, that's basically what's done with that. So here I've got my Stoner, then I've got my M14, I've got my AKMS. Maybe if I do this sideways you might be able to see it a bit better. So yeah, I've got my AK-47 TM, my AKM, my Type 56, my SLR, my AMD 65, my 870, my M16A1, my Car-15 prototype, my M79, my Car-15 or XM177E2 with a grenade launcher, my M16 M203, and then my M16 SD. And on the side here I've got my Sterling SD. Go back straight again. I've got my Mossberg 500 up here. I've got my RPK. A couple of various pistols and odds and sods are also up there. It's not been quite neatened out yet the way I need it. Then underneath I've got more storage facility, which has got my M60, magazines, bags, pouches, you name it, PRC 25 radio, a couple of handguns in various places. This isn't obviously everything I've got, but this is what I've built to the way I want it. So yeah, essentially this is my my version of a US Army gun rack of the time of Vietnam. I know there were a couple of different versions and it did have a specific name, but yeah, this is what I've done. So a schematic I originally used is this here. This is what I originally used, the M12 gun rack. Obviously it ended up being much bigger and a lot different from this, but it still has the overall US Army Vietnam War style of gun rack. So yeah, this is basically what I've done for it. I'm quite pleased with it. It's obviously it's not the only thing I've got as far as armories. I have other various bits like Winchesters on the fireplace and other mannequins holding different guns and whatnot. But for my armory, for the main base of weapons, this is where I've kind of kept everything. So again, this is Bravo 1 with Bravo Team Airsoft, and this is my armory update video. So thanks for watching.